Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you are all well. Welcome to my very impromptu podcast. I actually was going to do a recording and then post it later on, but I thought, if anyone comes and join me, because I know it's last minute, I would just love to hear from you because I'm telling you, from yesterday, I think I have a pit in my stomach about all that has been going on. There's been a little pit in my stomach. And I'm like, I could sit here and try to get slides together and all of this stuff. But I'm like, I want to hear from you guys because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just, emotional about a lot of things going on. But I'm like, this is just crazy and sickening and just, I'm like, I knew it was bad because, we've talked about it so many times, but I didn't know it was this bad. Even I was surprised at some of the things, and I talk about this stuff all the time, and I was a bit surprised. So before we even get to that, hello to all of my friends joining me. Thank you guys so much. I didn't even know if anybody would join, so I'm just grateful that anybody is here. Thank you, Fancy. I know Fancy was here, the first person joining. Thank you so much. Gwen is here. Yulivi is here. Church Nelly. Oh my goodness. Church Nelly, how are you doing? I'm so happy that you're here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Let us know. Please put it in. I mean, no pressure, but we've all been praying for you. Oh my goodness. I hope you felt the love. I know all of Squatty Land have been praying for you. And hopefully there is, you're not in pain or anything like that. So yeah, please, if you want to, no pressure, but you do let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling. So who else is here? Gwen is here, Sharon is here. And, oh, back to Church Nelly, 26 months of supporting the channel. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your support. In spite of what you've been going through, you've been out here supporting. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yulibi is here. Hi, Yulibi. And Karen Werner is here. Hi, Karen. Mad World is here. Wait, Sharon. Yeah, I said Sharon before. Is here. Who else is here? Oh, Matarazzi Sound is here. Gwen. Who else is here? Let's see. I think Terry is here. Hi, Terry. How are you? I am so happy you guys are hanging out with me for a minute as I just sort of, I don't know, digest. I don't know if you can digest. You literally feel like I just want to throw up in a lot of ways just reading this stuff. And I mean, I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but I posted just the whole expose with the royal family in our community page so you can read Prince William being a slumlord. I'll have to do that in another episode. And because I mean we've been talking about William and the homeless PR nonsense that he's been doing, and just reading those articles about that slumlordry of Prince William makes so much sense. Why this whole homeless thing did not make sense to me. I'm like, that's it. That's what it is. That's what it is that I was getting. That's why I just could not buy what they were selling with this homeless thing. And so another episode, we'll get to that one. There's so many things. But it's just like and then reading this, oh my goodness. And I also posted this from the Times yesterday. They, as you know, I'm sure Baron may have covered it. I'm sure Baron covered it. Duchess of Success covered it. Just about the royal family literally just leeching off of people, poor people. And I think that's what has gotten me so sick. And I feel like there is a pit in my stomach as I'm reading this stuff. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I just like, I can't even fathom how you could be this evil. I cannot even fathom how you could do it. And yet they are just doing it with no care in the world. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And so I mean, I would love to have you guys, if you want to, there's no pressure. And if you don't know about it, I mean, I can read some of the article. Dispatches, Channel 4 dispatches, apparently I'm not in the UK, so I haven't seen it yet, but they did a whole documentary about it 2 days ago. And the Times put out a whole article about it. And also the Mirror, yes, the tabloid Mirror, they're the ones that did the William is a slumlord uh, article. And it has been just, I don't even know what to say. I literally don't even know. Like, this kind of evil and this kind of just greed and this kind of just conning people. I mean, we didn't call them a conning, remember when the whole coronation thing happened? We only called it a coronation. I'm telling you, that was an understatement, honestly. From what you read in in these articles, and some of you in the UK, I'm assuming you may have watched, and hopefully you watch a documentary and have a lot even more information. I'm trying to figure out how we can see this documentary in the US. I mean, I I responded to Channel 4's thing on X, asking how we could see this from the UK, from the US. I'd love to see it, but it just I it just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. And I think the part thank you. This part here is what really, really, really got to me. I couldn't speak. I mean, this part where they are charging the NHS. Who does that? And then if you guys remember through COVID, when they would be standing outside clapping for the carers and clapping for the NHS, and everyone should do everything we can to support the NHS, knowing that they are charging the NHS $11 million. I was just like, oh my gosh. What? Even I didn't expect that. I knew there were grifters. I knew there were conning people. We talked about that all the time here. But even I wasn't expecting that. I was like, what the? I mean, I can't even. And I'm like, why didn't the NHS say something? And I think that is the reason why so many in the UK hated Harry and Meghan. And they were so against them. Because in the UK, there is this culture of secrecy that is there, that nobody speak up when they're abused, when they are taken advantage of, because they're so afraid of the backlash, especially against the royals, that they allow themselves to be used like this. And if dispatches and these news outlets didn't go and investigate, nobody would know. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I just like, no wonder these people hate Harry and Meghan, because Harry and Meghan spoke up. They said something. No wonder. Like $11 million for the NHS, that they are so short of money. They have not been able to hire as many nurses and all of that stuff to take care of patients. There's always this long line of people, to try to get care. And only to know that these grifters are fleecing the NHS of 11 million. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I just I have been, I don't know. Let me put the I'm just gonna put the link in the in the chat, and I want you guys to call in. And I mean, I'm like, I would love to hear from you. You call in and tell me what you're thinking, and you can go off on them if you want to, because I'm at a loss. I was reading the article, and I very rarely am I at a loss for words. You know me, I'm probably one of the most opinionated people in just about anything. But I was at a loss for this kind of bold face scamming of people. I mean, and not only the thing that also really got to me was the cancer charity that they charge rent to, these exorbitant rent, so much so that the cancer charity literally had to move out of the building. And not only King Charles, who claims that he has cancer. I mean, look, whether he does or not, you know how I feel about a lot of those things with him and Kate. But not only did he cost charging them, he's also the patron of these charities that they're charging these rent to. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? You leave me, you come on stage and you tell me what you're thinking. You leave me, hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Talk to me.
Look, all I can say is that God, the creator, works in mysterious ways. When things don't work your way or the way you want them to work, you have to take a minute and say, you know what? I'm leaving it in God's hand.
Mm,
Is a reason why Meghan and Harry had to go. I'm
yep.
telling you. Is a reason why. They didn't dodge a bullet. They dodged a cannon. A cannon.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't dodge a bullet. It's a cannon. That, you know when they're gonna go down, because they are going to go down. At least Meghan and Harry are out of this. Because the dishonesty, the lack of humanity in this family is unbelievable. They're drifters. They're getting so much money from these poor people who cannot even afford heat. They are, oh my God, how much is enough? How much money is enough? What they have is more than they need to have a great life. But they want more, and they don't love their people. They don't love their country. They are drifters.
Mm-hmm.
They are dishonest. Not only they stole from everywhere around the world, they're stealing from their own people. Seriously? Sway doesn't have enough money to fix those places. They're taking money from the NHS where they don't even have enough money to treat their people. The
Mm-hmm.
new government say, oh, we're going to have authority measure because we don't have enough money. No wonder they don't have enough money. They keep paying for this damn family. Sorry,
Yep.
darn family. You don't like curses.
Yes.
Darn, darn family. This is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh
have Karen
my
also on
God.
here. Karen, I'm gonna bring you up. Also, give me 1 second. Let you leave. You continue, and I'll bring up
I
Karen to
you
join
know,
us.
I am laughing because I don't want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
It is so despicable. It
Yep.
is so sad. When is enough? How much
Mm-hmm.
money one needs? Seriously, you don't take it with you when you die. Do some good. Help people. How much is enough?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Money is the root of all evil. I 100,000% believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Too much is not good.
Yep.
You
I'm
lose your
adding Karen. I'm
humanity.
bringing on Karen as well. Karen, you can join in the
Mm-mm,
conversation. Hi, Karen.
mm-mm.
Hi, Feta. Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi.
How you guys doing? Hi, Squatties. Feta, it's so good to hear you.
Aw, thank you, Karen. I know I've
All the
been missing
best.
quite a bit. Yeah, I've been
Yes,
trying to
all the
deal.
best. All the best. All the best. Yes. Oh my gosh. You guys talking about being numb. I am so numb right now. I'm still confused. Um, and I understand why most of us are. Um, there is and the other thing too, I'm asking myself why now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still feeling that there's something going on here, something. I don't know, I feel there's something, you know brewing, being manipulative, strategizing. I'm trying to figure it out, like why now.
Mm.
why the vault is open now with all this information.
Right.
Okay. And I mean to say, most of us, okay, most of us had it right.
Mm-hmm.
We had it right, but we weren't able to see what was, you know, we weren't getting the answers that we need because it was hidden behind that vault. We had, we know that there was something. Okay. There was too many open-ended things, situations going on. As a finance person, how it works, it's supposed to be an out and an in, right? Or an in and an out in order for things to work, right? And a lot of times things were um, like being um, taken in, or things were going out and nothing was coming in. Okay, take for instance, let's take homelessness. That confused me. It really confused me because it didn't sit right. Homelessness is something, and I mean to say, all countries deal with this and was dealing with it for thousands of years. Okay? And all of a sudden, William is going to solve it. Right? I'm in Canada, we deal with it. Okay? It's a political thing, it's an economical thing. There's a reason why the governments don't completely deal with it. Okay? And there've been many great minds before William, and he's going to solve it. How are you going to solve it? Homelessness is not just about people not having a home and going on the streets. Okay? There's all kinds of situations. There's mental situations. There's emotional situations. There's all kinds of situations. Why? You have to get to the bottom of it. Okay, how are you going to deal with it? You're going to, find medical help for these people, whatever situation. You're going to bring their families whole again. Like, what's going on? How are you going to solve this? It's not just taking people off the street and putting them in a house. Okay, you'd start doing that, and then you're going to find more homeless people. Okay, now this thing comes out, you see situations where people are living and there's molding in their house and stuff like that. I prefer to be on the streets than to be in a house with molded, because then I'm in an enclosed situation where I can develop all kind of health problems, right? Then on the other hand, you're seeing all this, the NHS is complaining there's not enough money for their nurses, their doctors and stuff, all this, um, striking and everything that's happening. Okay, people are homeless, they don't, they can't heat their place and all these different stuff, and they don't have jobs. But then you have all this land, you have properties on this land, and now we're hearing that you're on top of that, these people, even if they're working, they have to be paying this royal family taxes to just go out and we said just pull a ribbon or something like that. But when it comes to homelessness, for example, when I say it's a government situation, whatever the government is taking in from, these places, in taxes, is supposed to help produce houses to fix some of the homeless situation that's going on. So it's not something the royal family can handle. It's supposed to be an in and out return. Okay, the royal family is taking in this money. They have all these lands. They're taking rent with NHS and the army and all these different stuff. So all that money that's supposed to be, even if the army is paying for to be on property that is the government owned, at least if the government is taking rent from them, it's going back to the government that they can produce houses with. Now it's going to the royal family and it's staying inside of there. The taxes from the people when they work, going to royal family. When they live and pay rent, going to royal family. When they go to the hospital, it's going to royal family. They're going to the army, it's going to the royal family. So what's going to the government to help them to build houses for these people?
Right. Well, hold on, Karen. Hang on one second. I just want to make sure that anyone else want to come join us on on our chat. Please, I just posted the link in the chat, so come join us. Um, but that is a great point that you make, because one of the things that some of the places that basically have to pay the royal family rent. According to article, it says the Duchy file shows that the royals charge for the right to cross rivers, offload cargo into the shore, run cables under their beach, operate schools, charities, and even dig graves. They earn revenue from toll bridges, ferries, sewage pipes, churches, village halls, pubs, distilleries, gas pipelines, boat mooring, open cast and underground mines, car parks, rental homes, wind turbines. I kid you not, they also even, this is this is the one that really got me.
Jail,
In
the
the end, hang on one second. Hang on one second. It says, finally, the King's Land in Derbyshire is rented to a portable toilet supplier.
Oh, jeez.
The Duchy, I kid you not, it says the Duchy of Lancaster has made £125,000 over the past 5 years from a company called Exclusive, as in Lou, and in the Isle of Scilly, the prince is profiting from a public toilet.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
receives £60 a year from the
Mhm.
Council of Scilly Isles for
Yeah,
a lavatory on the island of St. Martin's.
yeah.
Yes. And just imagine, then you have this new government who's coming in, who just came in, and they're trying to fix things. And they're realizing that the government doesn't have enough money. And you had the Tory for I don't know how many years who allowed all this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this new government who came in, who's trying to do something, and they realize they have no money. But then they also realize where the money is really going. They have to make noise, because I won't be surprised if they're involved in this, letting this information go out. Because here they have to add taxes or ask austerity measure on the people. But they're realizing then actually the government should be making more money, but the money is going to the royal family. This information needs to go out, because if it doesn't go out, it will look like they're not doing their job. But how can they do their jobs if they're not getting any money?
Right.
Because the money is going to the royal family.
Yeah,
So
but the thing
You
is
know
that
what the funny thing? Oh, sorry. Hang on, Karen. The funny
no,
thing, that you should say that, because one of the things the article, the Times article says, one of the first thing it says, even Parliament have been denied access to the list of land holdings held by the royals.
oh, I
Even
bet you the
members of
Tory
elected,
knew it.
yeah, elected members. And I thought, Lakiva, you were coming in, and you went away. So please call in again. Even members of parliament don't have a listing, and the royal family refused, until now, has refused to make public the amount of places and their land holdings. So even elected officials didn't have this. And so I don't know how dispatches and all the others were able to access all of this stuff, but they were. And so for years, a lot of MPs have been trying to get their hands on this information, and nobody had it.
you see, this is the part that's really confusing, and I can't understand because, and as much as they're explaining that in there, it's still throwing me because I can't understand. Okay, you call yourself a democratic country, okay, and people are supposed to be free, and all I see here is captivation here, because captivity here, sorry, because some people have to know, the people in high places have to know, because it's being operated. They have to know. Okay, I can understand the small people who are the workers and the laborers. Okay, and even if they know, they're afraid to say something because they need their job. Okay, and I think that's where most of the problem is, and where most of them stand, because of the kind of control that the royal family have Okay, in this country, they're saying they're not political. They are totally political. That country has two governments. Okay, it has the government office, and the royal family is the people that's actually running that country. Because the PMs, the prime ministers and stuff, they have no control. They are only there. They're only there because I cannot understand that you have people that's suffering, okay, in that country, okay, and not even the government could not help them. And the government has to know what the royal families do. You cannot be in a country like that, okay, and have all that money inside that country doing the stuff them that you're doing because they were doing the most. Okay, with the oligarchs and everybody, all the Russian rubies and whatever it is coming there. That's a dumb ground for it. That's where they launder all their money. So they know. Okay, they know. But every one of them was all in it. And like I said, this whole thing is about politics. Politics inside of there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Charles was right up inside it. And one of the things you guys keep saying that, but Charles is okay because Charles do a lot of work and he helped. Charles was not helped, and I keep saying it over and over again. And now it comes out. Charles was not helping no one but himself. And whatever he did for anybody, okay, it was repaid to him. He did not do anything. It was all that's charity and everything that they have inside of there. I'm sorry that I'm so pissed off. All this charity that they have inside of there, okay, is a way for them to hide that money and to launder that money. That's what it is.
Okay, we're gonna bring on Lakiva. We're gonna bring on Lakiva. Hi, Lakiva. How are you?
Hi, Pato. I love you. Make me laugh. Oh, I love your laugh.
Oh, thank you.
I listen to you every day. I'm a grandmother and I have an autistic grandson, so we be running an apartment. And when I see you come on, I get so excited. I get on. I say, oh my God, Pato, I get to laugh. I just want, and hi to everybody else. I love Meghan and her. Oh, I love my dog. I just want to say the Royals have a lot of mental problems, the way they were brought up. They have a lot of mental problems. I believe the Queen did too. And what's so sad is William doesn't understand. We all love her because he gives, because he loves, because he helps the innocent and the weak. That's what people look at. And all we can do is to try to pray for them. We don't wish anything bad on them, but until they change, and they have to apologize to Meghan and her. And until that, God will bring more and more and more things on them and expose them, and that we will all see who they are. So I can't stay on here long, but I just wanted to tell you, thank you for all your hard work. And I love you. I love all the squaddies, and God bless y'all.
Oh, thank you, Kiva. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Gotta go.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So I'm gonna read this from the NHS, and this is what happened with the NHS when they talk about the NHS. It says the Duchy files reveal more details in which royal estate charged public services. In January last year, the Duchy of Lancaster said it was pleased to be of assistance when Guy and Thomas NHS Foundation Trust needed to find a garage space for a new fleet of electric vehicles. It was vehicles it was buying to tackle ambulance waiting times. The Duchy put out a press release saying it had granted the hospital trust a red brick 1980 warehouse close to Tower Bridge. And this is what they said in the press release. It says, we are delighted to be able to help and support the trust's ambitions to upgrade to an all-electric fleet, the Adrian Bayliss of the Duchy commercial manager says. However, the contract below reveals that to use the 27,000 square foot two-story warehouse, the NHS was paying rent of £829,348 a year to the King's Duchy. That will amount to at least 11.4 million over 15 years. The lease shows that the rent charged by the duchy from the NHS is 67% more than the 15 pound per square foot that was being paid by the Metropolitan Police, which vacated the same warehouse only a few months earlier. That is so sickening to me. They're just literally charging the NHS 67% more than they charge the Metropolitan Police for the same space. This is the hospital to help people. These are the same people they were clapping for. They over 15 years, they would charge them 11.4 million pounds. And these are the same people that they were claiming, like, oh yeah, when they put out the press release, I'm sure everyone thought that, oh wow, they're letting them use the space for free, because that's how the press release sounds. That they're allowing them to use the space, or even for maybe a nominal fee, whatever, it's your land, whatever. But no one could have expected that they were charging them almost 900,000 per year for the space. And I mean, this is unbelievable. And not only that, with, even you're talking about the NHS, with charities, it says the duchy owns Camelford House, a 1960 office block. Seen below, there was a picture there that occupies a prime spot in London next to the MI6 building overlooking the Thames. It has become known by letting agents charity towers. It's become known by letting agents as charity towers. So I guess a lot of different charities reside in that building, because so many charity organizations have rented office space there, including Macmillan's Cancer Support, the Hospice Charity, Marie Curie, Comic Relief, Landmines, and the World Society of Protection of Animals. The King is a patron of Macmillan and Marie Curie, and William has appeared on television to promote Comic Relief. And apparently the rent was so high that both of them, Marie Curie and of Macmillan Center, have both now vacated the space because the rent was so high. And again, King Charles is a patron of those, and so when it just goes to show, like, when you see them going about and they're going on these engagements, because their one job is supposed to be exactly this, service, being of service to the community, and they're doing all this supposed charity work with these organizations. What they're not telling people is that they actually, wherever these charities are literally paying them rent. And so these exorbitant rent, and so whatever these charities making, whatever donations that are coming into these charities, by the time they pay rent to King Charles, their patron, they have no money remaining. So when when there was this study from, I forgot the name of the places, the organization that did this study, that these charities having a royal patron really means nothing, because they're not making any money. This was so true, because even if they have a lot of people donating to them, that money that's being donating to them is literally going to the royal family, their patron. And it's just like, oh my God. This is just like, it's unbelievable. And you think of the fact that they're doing this to they're doing it to schools, they're doing it to churches, they're even the scouts. Even the scouts.
The scouts.
Yeah, the kids. It says the Duchy of Lancaster is charging, again, 280 pounds for the use of a wooden hut in the St. Bride's Major by the scouts. The scouts, the little kids.
Yeah.
For which Charles is the patron.
There you go.
In Cornwall, in the Isle of Scilly, 6-boat station owned by the Royal National Boat Institute, another charity for which the king is a patron, pays £600 a year. Nobody gets anything for free from this family. No one gets anything for free. the armed forces, the Navy, even the school with that trained William and Charles have to pay them rent.
Mm-hmm.
Warships wanting to refuel and all of that stuff that is there. I mean, King Charles is the head of the military. Now we understand why. Remember how we always talk about why do they treat the military the way they do?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just their tenant. That's how they see them. They're just people
Mm-hmm.
they get money from. They have to literally pay the royal family to train on the property.
Yeah, you remember there was something that came out, I think it was last year, the year before, when the competitors for the Invictus Games, when
Mm-hmm.
Harry was there, the Queen loaned them um some auditorium or something like that to practice and do their stuff. And they had to leave there, I think it was last year or something, and find some other place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that bothered me. I'm saying that how is it that the military have to, you know, um, do it in the Queen stuff, and then she took it away from them, and they have to go find some other place to go. Like, I thought they're supposed to be taking care of their military people. Like, and that bothered me. So when this came up that the military is paying rent, and I said, okay, so it was right. This is what's happening. Like, why doesn't the military has facilities
Well, the
and
thing
gyms
is,
and stuff like that for them to do that? That means this big stadium that they built, where I guess they Invictus Games going to be in 2 years or whatever it is. Well, I guess if we look, maybe that stadium is owned by one of them as well too.
well, this is what it says. It says the 180,000 acre property empires. They own the most land everywhere.
Hmm.
So it says the duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall stretch beyond the counties they are named after to cover 180,000 acres of England and Wales. They are largely made up of land and seashores seized by the kings in the centuries immediately after the Norman conquest. It says on this website, the Duchy of Lancaster says that it's completely self-financing and it does not rely on taxpayer money. The Duchy of Cornwall also says that it is not public body, nor is it funded by taxpayers. However, the files reveal that the monarch and the prince have contracts with taxpayer-funded public service that pays them millions. And because of all of the money, the land that they have, just about every place that, for example, this is what it says: the Duchy of Cornwall land extends along large stretches of the seashore and rivers around the southwest of England, including the Bed Dart estuary, highlighted below, which runs along the Britannia Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, where the British naval officers are trained. William and his father both trained at the college as naval cadets, as did Charles' father, Prince Philip. Grandfather George VI. William was at the college last December, pictured below, which with his ceremonial sword and navy coat, and thank the last batch of new naval recruits as they were passing the out parade. Let's see. But the lease of the document below shows that over the past 20 years, the duchy has charged the Ministry of Defense a total of at least 900,000 for the right to moor the boats underwater surrounding the college, which is needed to train the recruits on the river. So it's like the college they are paying for, and also the river, to use the river to literally train the Navy cadets. They also have to pay for. Even the submarines, William is the Commodore for the submarines. Even the whole thing there, they also have to pay for. And it's just like, I mean, it just, they are literally, no matter where in life, even when people want to go to the bathroom, they have to pay the royal family for it.
And the worst thing about all this, okay, all this income and money is coming into them. This is how they have this country so trapped. All of this is coming into them, and they're paying no taxes that should go out to the government, so the government
Exactly.
can support the people out there and build houses for the people out there. The government has no land to build for the people out there. So how
Because
is
they
it
own
looking?
all of it. They own all the
They
land.
own all of it,
Hmm.
and they're taking in all the money from all of it. Okay, so nothing is going out to the government to help the people out there.
And you
Okay,
know the funny thing is, I was sorry, I'm cut you off there. I'm so
not a
sorry. I'm
problem. No,
jumping
no, no,
in,
it's okay.
but
It's okay.
what's his name? Graham Smith wrote a book, and I've talked about this book before. He just wrote a book about basically abolishing the monarchy. And one of the things he mentioned in his book that a lot of people don't know or people misunderstand is that the duchy land is not private property, even though King Charles and William and they have been treating it as private property. It is not. It is public. It is public. Is actually the public property that. I guess over time it was given to the monarch and the heir to use whatever income it makes as their personal personal income, but it's really is public property. And so that's why now they're talking, after all of this stuff is coming out, that this should revert back to the sovereign grant, and they should be folded in to where whatever it makes, they should treat it as how the sovereign grant is treated, where whatever the duchies make, it goes to the public purse, and from that they give a cut of that to the royal family, just as they do the sovereign grant. Because right now all of the profits is going to William and Charles, that on top of the sovereign grant, which is growing to about 120 something million pounds this year. Which again, when you look back at what the royal family has been doing, is look at what they've done for this entire year. What part of that deserves a raise? What part of that deserves a raise to 120 something million? That on top of the 20 something million each of the duchies bring in, that they can pretty much use however they want to use. And again, even with the sovereign grant as it is, as quote unquote 120 something, it's actually closer to $500 million. It's closer to 500 and something million pounds. What they're
Yeah.
not including in there is all the security, which they never do, and all the
Mhm.
other stuff that they do. It's closer to now now people are more comfortable stating the facts that it's closer to 500 million pounds that the royal family are getting every year. And that is despicable. And so when you look at all of this stuff, my thing is like, why isn't there rioting in the UK right now? You'll leave me jump in. Why isn't there rioting in the, not, I don't want anybody getting hurt or anything like that. But in the term of why is there not much more outrage going on? Why am I more outraged than many Brits right now? And again, if anyone else want to join in.
Um, I guess I am outraged because, like I'm going through, like an emotional situation, and I guess, it's because I am out out of Britain in an outer world where, I am free and I have the freedom to, to get things, to do things, to have my voice heard and challenge my government, right? And speak up and fight back when I see things are being wrong, which is something that you can see right through this, even from the time they turned and said that, Charles turned and said he has no money to pay Meghan. You understand? So
Mhm.
I was outraged from even then. You know what I'm saying? And then all this stuff is coming. It's like, how can you not have money to pay her? You know that Harry's gonna get married. So you should have been putting away that piggy bank. You know what I'm saying? So, and then all of this comes up, and you think, so she was supposed to be the peasant working for free because she's biracial and all that stuff, because this is what this is telling me right now. Okay, you have no respect for her. Okay, if it was somebody else, that statement wouldn't have come up. but because it was her, it's like saying to Harry, well, if you married her, I wouldn't have any money to pay, things. So you were sending a message to him. You understand? And then all this coming up, and all the bags of money that you got caught running around the place with, and you came up with you came up with a statement like that. So she was supposed to be used. You were disrespecting her. You were supposed to take advantage of her because she's marrying Harry and into that family.
Yeah.
Right? That's the amount of respect that you had for this woman who's coming in there.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're coming up with then you're hearing all this different stuff, okay? And all this different avenue of money coming in, even from the charities that people are supposed to be, you're asking people to donate to, and this money was being paid to you. Okay? Meghan stand up about the cookbook because she says, no, she did it for them. It's their recipe because this is exactly what was going to happen to the cookbook. Okay? So you can see all this cycle that is going on, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes,
So
it is.
I feel it for the people in England, but at the same time, I can't understand why it has been gone on. That means there's just a set of people who was in a set of group who were enjoying all of this, okay, and wouldn't do anything to change it because they have no compassion for the people who are outside of that group, okay, to help them. Okay, let them live and behave, and whatever happened to them. And those same people can't even speak because they're afraid that they might lose their job. They're afraid that whoever's going to come after them. It's the same thing when they're trying to speak on, with us here. Maybe their internet might cut off or something might cut off because it's being run under the ground to get to their house. And it's through the monarchs, underneath the sea of the monarchs, where they have
Right.
to pay
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is really ridiculous. Well, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Karen and Yalivi. I want to get to some people in the chat who didn't call in. I want to get to their comments as well before I go. But I thank you so much because everything you said, yes.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just
Thank you.
speaking in terms because I don't want your channel getting any frack from and
Oh,
demonetized or
girl. I
anything
mean,
like that.
that's,
So
yeah. Don't even worry about that. But
I have to speak in code sometimes.
yeah, I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming on, but
Love you
I
guys.
want to get to
Love you
others in
guys.
the chat as well to hear their comment. Thank you, Sam, and thank you so much, Yalibi.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. I wish I had more time to continue, but I want to get to someone those in the chat as well. So I will chat with you another time. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So let's get some comments in the chat. I know you guys were chatting along in here. Let's see. Beverly says it shows that they didn't have respect for Prince Harry. Prince Harry's eyes are fully open now about his family and how they really feel about him and his family. Prince Harry, don't ever go back to that stinky island. I know, right? I'm so happy that Harry and Meghan have been silent, that they have completely, nobody can use them. And it's very interesting that they have not used Harry and Meghan in any way to try to throw them. I mean, they have been silent, so you can't really throw two people under the bus that have literally just sort of removed themselves from that narrative. So really, stay silent, Harry and Meghan, Mad World says now we see Charles actually had money according to this article. He just didn't want to pay. Absolutely. And you think about all the money that he has, and then you think about all those we talked about Prince Charles and his underhanded ways of getting money from those oligarchs and those people, those really, well, I don't even want to say nefarious characters, because honestly the royal family are the same. But when you think about the Mr. Mahfouz bin Mahfouz and all, paying for those honors and all of those things. He has all of this money. Why does he need to take money from these characters for his charity when he has all of this money? And then you realize, like, all of those quote unquote charity work, then it really makes you think, like, is that money really for charity? Because now that we're looking at it, he's already getting money from the charities anyway, as they're paying him all of this rent. And heaven knows how many other, because they are patrons of so many charities, how many other charities that he and others are patron of that actually is paying the royal family for rent and all the other things that they're paying for. It is so utterly despicable. And it's not just King Charles. This didn't just start with King Charles being king, being as king, and Prince William. This started with the Queen. This whole stuff was going on while Queen Betty was alive. That's why I have never been here for Queen Betty. I have always known her to be a greedy leech on her people. And people always says this, oh, because she is this white-haired, grandmotherly looking type, that they always felt like, oh, she's our grandmother. And I've always been like, she's the grandmother that's ripping you off. And it goes also to show that even when they were saying that, that some of the elected officials couldn't get their hands on the land holdings of the royal family. This goes to what people talk about, oh, the royal family's role is just ceremonial. They don't really have any power and all of that stuff. It's such ignorant statements. Any amount of you looking into the royal family, you don't need to even have all of this information to know the kind of control that the royal family have over politicians. The fact that you have the prime minister basically bowing to King Charles speaks volumes to his power and control over the government. The fact that they could vet laws that, if with the king's consent and all of that stuff, that they cannot proceed with a law without consent from the king, tells you the kind of control and power that they have. You don't need all this information to know that. It is unbelievable that people still could be this ignorant about things. Let's see. Anne Louis says someone wants the monarchy to end with King Charles III, and William is on the head of state or representative of the UK. The UK public has been for centuries brainwashed in a cult, economic crisis, and experts' silence. I mean, it's definitely been a cult, and they definitely have recruited the press to make sure that the public is completely distracted from all the lies and manipulations. I mean, even if with all of this stuff that's come out, if you go online right now, very little is said by the rest of the mainstream press. Very little, if any at all. The majority of them have been silent. If they talk about it, it would be very quick and buried somewhere. It's not headline news. Whether it's BBC, ITV, and all of them, you will find some things in The Guardian. Sure, as you can see this article there, written no less by Richard, whatever his name is, that was at the Express, who I think he used to write for The Guardian before. Then he went to the Express. And now he's back writing, I guess, maybe on a freelance basis for the Express. I mean, for the Guardian. But the majority of royal reporters have been silent. The few of them that has mentioned anything, it's been like, oh, rather curious article. Like, for example, Chris Ship. I think Joseph N posted a screenshot of a post from Chris Ship and one other person, but the rest of them have been silent. And I think William is now in South Africa doing his Earthshot Mass and pretending that, the world doesn't know he's a slumlord. We'll talk about him and his slumlordiness in another episode. But this is just so sickening. Another thing that's so sickening is the fact that they charge schools and churches, colleges, rent. It is just, and the amount of rent that these people pay. And then you see them go to these schools and the little kids lined up, whether it's cold or hot, waving flags at them, knowing that, I mean, again, they're just going to basically, as someone mentioned, check on their investment because these people pay them rent. It's not because they're there to do community service or there to do any kind of charity work or they really actually care about these people in any way, shape, or form. It's also despicable to see them walk around in military uniforms and Navy uniforms, whatever, and giving themselves these titles, knowing that they really are there because, well, the Navy and stuff pay them rent. And they're leeching off of the military. This military that's there to protect all of them, they're leeching off of it. And then when, Invictus Games come around, when they're veterans that need their support, they are silent. They don't care. They don't care. The only thing they care about is that they get their rent. It is just so despicable. Yet their people in the press are sitting there attacking Harry and Meghan for their lone property in California and whatever, and making it like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have all of this. Meanwhile, and the thing about it is, I can guarantee you that it is not just these news outlets that have put out this documentary and this information that know this. I guarantee you many in the Rupert Murdoch press or the whatever, the Daily Mail and stuff, they know a lot of this information and have been hiding it. And they've been hiding it so they can keep access to the royal family. It is just so utterly deplorable. Utterly deplorable. Lorna says the Duchy of Cornwall and Lancaster is seized by land. Oh, did I read this before? The current monarch only holds onto it if they have a male heir. The male heir reverts back to English government. No male heir reverts back to English government. They should not wait for this to happen. This should be now. After all of this, this should be where the government starts to be like, okay, no, we're taking this back. And this whole thing is why there can't be this kind of secrecy. And they have had cover from the press who should have been doing their job. None of this should have been a shock to anybody. If anybody in the royal rota were doing their job, all of this stuff would have been revealed. I mean, of course, we knew some of it, but not to the extent that this is. If anyone in the royal rota who love to call themselves journalists, if they were doing their jobs, all of this stuff would not have been hidden. And the royal family for this length of time could not have gotten away with this stuff. We even know that they have been robbing the dead, where property of the dead who die without a will, they're supposed to, at least what they said, they would be donating that stuff to charity, which they haven't been doing. They've been keeping it. We've done a whole episode about William and the Duchy of Cornwall cheating the dead and stealing from the dead, because this money has not been going to charity as they said it would. This is despicable. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Angelina says, no wonder the military people were looking at Kate kind of crazy when she came to cosplay G.I. Jane. Well, even if you weren't paying rent to the royals, that her coming and cosplaying hello. Now they should really be looking at this seriously, because in Spain, if you guys know, Spain has been going through really a horrible time the last few days because of flooding. I mean, that has taken out, I think, Valencia and some other places in Spain horrendous flooding. And the king and queen went to, I guess after a few days, went out to basically be with the people and to encourage them or whatever else. The people, I think it was in Valencia, threw mud at them. They were like pelting them with things. And we know that, in some instances, they were throwing eggs at King Charles. They better be careful when they go out, because I'm like, and I don't advocate for this kind of mess. And I've talked about this before, throwing things at someone. You never know what that stuff and who that stuff could hit, and it could really harm people. But they need to be really like, look, take some extra precautions, because this ain't, I mean, hello. So, oh, Duchess of Success was here. I don't know if she's still here. Hi, how are you? And she's like, hi, all. Pause the podcast. I had to increase speed and listen. Oh, okay. I hope you're still here. I'm not sure if you're still here or not, but thank you for coming by. And again, if you have not gotten her amazing book, definitely jump in and get it. You can get it anywhere. Just jump onto Amazon. You can get it there. She's really awesome. I am so proud of her. But yes, Cookies and Cream says the vile, racist, ungodly family had the Sussexes repay them for repairs on a property they didn't own. The property was already earmarked for repairs, whether or not the Sussexes live there. That is very, very true. And I will never understand why Harry and Meghan repaid that thing. I hope, I mean, ugh. I mean, I understand. I understand in a way that, they just wanted to get rid of it. They didn't want to have that people constantly saying they owed the the UK taxpayers money, and I totally get that. But yeah, it just, I hope Harry and Meghan got their money back. That's all I want to say. I hope they got their money back, because unbelievable. Let's see. And Louis says, are there charities that are supposed to not pay taxes, paying royal family to use their names as patron, which William don't turn up? I'm not sure I understand all of what you're saying. Explain, Anne. These charities which are supposed to not pay taxes, paying the royal family to use their names as patrons. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not really sure. And I don't even understand why charities would go along with this stuff. I really, really don't understand. I mean, are they just so enamored with the royal family that they, even though they're being robbed to their nose, that they will still allow them to be patrons and then use them for publicity, like pretending that they care about whatever the charity is doing? Like, I don't understand this. I don't understand. Lori says they are profiting 3 times of the charity or off the charities, charging them rent, pretending to give them lodging, and then use them for PR. No shame, none at all. I mean, it's just so sickening, especially those charities, the cancer charities. I mean, hello. I don't even, it's just amazing to me. Let's see. What else you guys are saying? Just scrolling up. Laurie says, how much money do these people need? Don't they have any empathy, any heart? Is there any humanity on them? No. That's just a no. Obviously, no. None whatsoever. And Louis says, we must not forget the cash for honors, the Fortune and Mason bag of cash. Hello. Which is what I was asking earlier. They have all of this money. Why do they need to go take this money from these people? This bag of cash. They have all of this money, and that is what greed does. You never have enough. And I will never understand the charity commission just letting that go. It's like, oh no, nothing to see here. They're fine. Of course, we remember that the head of the charity commission is married to this woman who was in King Charles and Princess Diana's wedding. She was one of the little bridesmaids. So you know that royal connection. And her grandfather was this guy who was prime minister. I don't remember what his name was, who was a great friend of the queen. So you see that royal connection there. And I don't understand, even with that and all the publicity, there's like, oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. Unbelievable. What else you guys are saying? Beverly says cookies. Oh, she's talking to Cookies and Cream. I forgot they repaid for the slave quarters. King Charles III owes them about $6 million for her clothes and slave home, going on tours and trips. You know, now I don't know exactly how much Meghan put out from out of pocket for stuff like that, whether for clothes and all and tours and stuff. But I hope she got her money. I hope she was paid for that. So that's all I'm saying. I hope they paid her. So I know there was a thing. It was like they were claiming that Meghan was saying like, "Oh, I can't believe that I'm not paid." Hello, why wasn't she paid? She needs to be paid for those things. So I hope Meghan got her money back. So yeah. Uh let's see. And the thing about, it's so funny. I was talking, this is the last point I'm going to make before I have to jet off. But the thing that really has concerned me about just with the homeless thing that has been bothering me. And then when I saw this and how and what they have been doing to the charities, it really got me concerned about why William is doing this whole I'm going to cure or I'm going to fix homelessness and solve it for all eternity, really, is that they're going to use the homeless to make money off the homeless. Because one of the things that, and again, I didn't see the documentary, so I don't know, it was mentioned a while ago, so I'm not sure if that is still part of this whole homeward plan that they're doing, because they were claiming that they were building like these 5-bedroom houses or some craziness like that. And my thing has always been like, well, these people can't afford regular housing, so how are they going to be affording these houses that William is talking about building? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, are they expecting the government to put in? Because if the people who they're supposedly building it for can't afford these housing, who else is going to pick up the balance of the rent or whatever that housing is going to cost? And so I'm thinking, are they expecting the government to come in and put in the balance? Because then if the government is doing it, then actually that'll be taxpayers, because, when it's the government thing, it's really taxpayers' money. And so what I was thinking, and again, I don't know if I'm thinking about it correctly, but my thinking is, are they doing the same thing? Is this what they're planning to do? Have the government pay them to house the homeless? And if that's the case, then they will be making money off the homeless. And maybe I'm thinking about it wrong, but it's like, that's kind of what it seems like to me. And so it will be more like they're come up with a scheme to make money off of homeless people. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what it's sounding like to me. And so I'm gonna go look up more about it and find out exactly, because I know that they have started. They're like, oh, we're starting to build or at least break ground on homes or whatever. And I want to know, like, how much were they costing? How much would those homes cost the people, the unhoused? And if they can't afford that, then who's gonna pick up the balance of it? Because if it's the government, then it's actually going to be taxpayers paying them to house the. Anyways, breathe. Anyways, guys, I have to run, unfortunately. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a minute as I go through this madness and just I just oh I haven't been this upset about something in a very long time, and this really has bothered me. So thank you, Karen and Libby for coming on and chatting for a few minutes, and Lakiva for chatting for a few minutes. Thank you so much for your great comments. We're gonna come back tomorrow and chat some more about it, and we're gonna talk about Prince William being the slumlord that he is. I just can't. I mean, I just like, dude. Yeah. Anyways, tomorrow. Anyway, Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. I actually saw Lydia for like a second, and I think she was at work, and I didn't get a chance to click on her little post there. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. Everyone who joined us today, and we'll chat again tomorrow. Thank you to all of our 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking there with me through all of my stuff. And I will chat with you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and we'll chat then. Bye.